Well, that's not exactly what you want to see when your roof is laying upside down on the ground, but we're gonna just have to roll with it and make some time to fix it. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rouse the Oliver Man, and today I'm going to give you a look at some things that I got as a result of going to the Farm Progress Show, and also show you some unfortunate things that happened here the other day. So we'll start with that, I suppose. So the other night I came home to a windstorm, which then proceeded to rip the roof off of one of my lean-tos here. So now, despite not really having time to do it, I have to make time to fix some of this stuff. So it's not a big deal other than inconvenience. I mean, we have pretty good insurance. It's local insurance that you can buy, so it's always been good to us, and I'm sure that it will be again. It didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it took off about 2 rafters and then this roof, which I've been meaning to replace anyway, because this is aluminum. Grandpa was a big fan of this whenever it came out. I don't know when, and we've got a lot of it, and I hate the stuff because it does stuff like this here. It's very easy to tear. The wind will tear it while it's up on the roof. From the the wind blowing against it will start to make holes in it, and I don't know. It just is a lot of trouble. And I think this even probably salvaged from something. That was another big thing that he liked to do, was we would take down buildings that people wanted torn down, and then we would use the salvage material to build ourselves a lean-to or something. And so a lot of this stuff looks kind of rotten, but that's probably because this was its second life. So it's not really, I guess, that big of a loss when you think of it that way. It's just, like I said, inconvenience for time. So whilst this was ripped apart, I decided to replace this corner post. So I got that ready to go. Again, it was made of salvage, probably light poles or something, and 2 side by side, because one got rotten, and then he put the other one next to it, which, whatever, that works. But anyway, I'm gonna make it better. So I got that set a while ago, and I got my rafter, or the whatever you want to call that, header, I don't know, ledger, I don't know. It's kind of a different style of building, but I got that put back where it needs to be. So now all I need to do is cut my rafters to put on there. And that's another thing I'm not really a fan of, but I guess that's the way of the old style of building, was notching your rafters. But in my mind, that makes a 2x6 a 2x4, because you've weakened it by cutting it. But that was common practice I've seen on a lot of old buildings. So anyway, I have to follow suit, because I'm not going to tear down a whole thing just to fix an end. So we're going to just go with what we got and put it back like it was. I'm thinking I'm also going to buy some siding while I'm working on this, and side this whole side in some nice, better siding. We kind of used some roof there to protect some of the stuff that was in it, because basically this lean-to has been full of all of the horse tools that we saved over the years collecting. Grandpa was into collecting just like I am, and that's what got me started. And he and I would go to auctions as a kid. But most of everything in here is our family's horse tools from when they farmed. This was stuff from his grandpa and his dad. So Studebaker wagon there, and I've got a John Deere wagon in the barn. I moved it in the barn because it was sitting in this corner. And there's a dump rake in here that was his grandpa's, and a couple riding cultivators, and I don't know what else, harrow sections. There's piles of horse poles and stuff. Part of that is a gravel bed, I think, to put on one of the boxes, because back then your wagons were expensive, and you bought one wagon gear and then you took the bed off and you put different beds on it. So you put on your grain box, and then you took it off and you put on your flat bed, and then you took it off and you put on, you know, whatever. But anyway, I think when I get the shed put back, I'm gonna pull all this out and rearrange and maybe try to get it better up off the ground. This wagon stayed up off the ground pretty good on the blocks, but the other one started to sink in a little bit into the blocks were getting pretty low, and I see my cultivator, one wheel is off. So we're gonna rearrange while we got this done, or got this tore apart, because I want this stuff to last at least my lifetime, because I enjoy looking at it. It almost motivates me pulling that other one out to want to go ahead and paint it up, because it needs something to save it. It was getting too weathered where it was. I'm thinking when I put it back, I'm going to put it back in this corner and pull that dump rake out and maybe put it crossways through here or something, so that wagon stays as dry as possible. But we can go look at that, I guess, here real quick. My poor barn needs attention too, because it's actually got a couple pieces of roof peeled back from an earlier storm, and I've been trying to wait till the weather was more decent to fix it, because I have to rent the lift and go up 60 feet in the air, and you don't really want it to be very windy when that goes down, because it's sketchy enough as it is. But anyway, this was my great-grandpa's wagon, and just like all that stuff was in there. Stupid vines growing up through stuff. This is a John Deere wagon. It even has remnants on it of, well, it might be the other side might be better, but it says sold by Union Hardware, Seymour, Indiana. There is a wagon identical to this at the local historical society, all painted up, and it's got the stenciling put back on it, but it's 100% original. I mean, he didn't, we never painted it, but I think I'm going to, just because it needs to be, it needs a coat of something to preserve it. And I'm just hoping that the wheels aren't too far gone. I'm thinking that if I do something with it now, I can probably save it. It's got the scooping board on the back that you lay down when you're scooping out ear corn. What else? The floor's it's getting kind of rough in places. And then I found a cedar at an auction that fits on the back of it, a John Deere cedar that was in almost immaculate shape. It's still got some green paint on it, so I had to have that. And this is the seat off of another one of those implements in there. It actually says Hoosier on it, so I need to clean that up again. We had that on the porch for a while where you could sit on it, so I may restore this too and put it back up at the house. But anyway, tired old wagon. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's definitely usable, but it's old. I mean, you can't expect much more from a wagon. I bet that thing's, what would you say, 100 years old by now at least, and always been in my family since it was new. This is where the decal would have been that said whatever. There's Farm Dog. But yeah, this is on my list of things. I took it to the fair one time when we did the threshing and demonstration, and then I used it to run the wheat into. So anyway, I'm just thinking it would look nice all painted up. Some people probably crucify me for doing that, but I feel like the originality is gone. You know, the paint, it's far enough gone that it's time to make it right. Anyway, I see that this is wore through, and and since broke. But I'd say it got wore through from the, see, this is where, if you turn too short, your wheel rubs it, and I think it's rubbed it thin enough that it finally gave way. But anyway, so that may be a future project. I don't know if you really want to see me paint, but I may work on that just because I'm thinking about it now. Not like I don't have 1,000 other things to do. But anyway, John Deere wagon. The other one was a Studebaker wagon. So both of those I'd like to fix up at some point. So I really don't know how much of this I'll film, because I know everybody will have a different opinion on how I'm doing this wrong, but I'm going to do it my way. Like I said, try to follow suit of what's there, put it back together and move on, making a few improvements along the way. Here's old John. I used it to hold the roof up while I changed the post out. This thing has built a lot of buildings here just the same way. Like I said, Grandpa bought this tractor new. Some people forgot I had it, because I don't really advertise owning a John Deere, as you can imagine. But 2020, kind of an oddball, because it is an HU, which is a high utility, and as such there are differences on it that when you try to get parts, there's things that seem to be hard to find. This is an early one too, so it has a separate power steering pump and different hydraulic system than the later one, so that's unusual too. So anyway, but I use it almost every day, just like we always did. It sat for, I'd hate to say how many years it sat. It sat when I was a kid for a long time. Took it to the dealer, they overhauled it. It never was just 100% right, but we kept using it. And then the hydraulic pump quit, and it sat and sat and sat and sat for several years. We put a Chinesium hydraulic pump in it, and that didn't last very long at all, and it quit. And so then it sat again for 5, 6, 7 years, and I'd start it up every so often because it has a practically new motor in it. And you know, Grandpa would drive it around just doing practically nothing because it was basically worthless without hydraulics. And anyway, a year or two ago, probably about the time I started YouTube, maybe before that slightly, I decided I was tired of it sitting here doing nothing and rotting up, so I was going to fix it up to where I could at least use it. So all new hydraulic system there. I was gonna split it and put a new pump in the center, but I didn't go that far. It works without it, so I'm just gonna go with that for now. But I suspect that it probably could use the middle. There's like a transfer pump that pumps the hydraulic oil up to the front, and I think that's probably worn. But anyway, I took the front axle totally off of it because it had a tremendous amount of slop in this steering fork, which is kind of an awkward design. But anyway, when I drove it as a kid, or we always had it, it had so much play in the steering wheel. You could go almost a whole revolution before it would grab to one side or the other. And we just lived with it that way. Whenever I brought it up, I was like, I think we should fix that. And he'd be like, well, that's probably going to be too expensive, so we'll just keep going. But I kind of feel like staying alive might have been worth something, but I don't know, we made it. So anyway, I spent a bunch of money on that, got that fixed. It does need, I can see, it really needs work on like the spindles and all that, but that's all different too because it's taller. I'm gonna have to figure that out. The hubs, for some reason, I don't know if they're different or what, but I cannot find hubcaps that stay in them. I've ordered I don't know how many different ones, and I don't know. I'm to the point where I'm thinking I'm gonna just buy 2 new hubs so that maybe I can get hubcaps that stay in it. It needs the wheel bearings gone through anyway, so we'll probably do that one day too. But anyway, I talk about this because this leads me up to the first thing I got from the farm machinery show. If you noticed in that one video, as we were passing a place and it was like E-Parts or something, I'll put in that clip real quick so you can see what I'm talking about.
It hit the ceiling.
It did? Oh, really?
So we had to switch.
That's what I need for the 2020. Okay.
Well,
howdy. Yeah, do you have you got a catalog here, huh?
No, you have
cards, yeah.
to our website.
Good deal. I got a 2020 John Deere and I need a top link for it.
Okay.
That looks about like what it
Pretty
takes.
close to it.
Alrighty. Thank you. Grandpa had the original one welded solid, and now to move a hay bale with it hangs too far downhill. But anyway, I saw that hanging on the wall just in passing that there was a top link that looked just like what this tractor's supposed to have. So I got on the internet right out on the ride home actually and ordered this, and it showed up, and that's just what it takes. I mean, it fits in there just like the original. It's got the square thing here so it doesn't turn, and then your rod that hooks in here when you're not using it to hold it up. Grandpa had welded the other one solid because I know people probably wondered that when they heard me say that in that video, but it had gotten so wore that it would pull the end out, and so he got sick of that, so he just welded it. He picked a length that, you know, was like an average length that he thought you'd use, and then welded her solid. But when I was using the hay fork or spear here, which isn't much either, somebody homemade, it would not pick up the bale. The bale would hang downhill, and the bale would want to slide off. So now with this, it's drifted down again, but when it is up, as it picks it up, it actually tilts it up now, so the bale will stay on. So that made the purchase worth it right there. And this wasn't that expensive. I want to say it was like around $100 or something, and so I'm happy with it. We'll see how well it holds up, but so far it's made in the original style, and I'm happy with that. I've had to replace several things on it that were just totally shot. That adjusting arm, I did the same way. I found it on eBay. I need to get this one because I thought that this one was going to go, and then when I was trying to get it freed up, I ended up breaking off whatever's inside of here to make that ratchet go round and round, and it's not worth it to me to fool with fighting. They make a new one, I'll just buy it and it'll match that one then. But anyway, PTO shield was just practically gone. I mean, there was a remnant of it, and that was it. So I bought a new one of those, and that came off of eBay and is probably a Chinesium special, but it's built solid, so I can't complain. There's a lot of things I want to do to this, but I just don't know when I'll get to that. You know, it's not something that I'm not a John Deere person, but I like this tractor deep down just because it's always been here. My grandpa bought it new. It was the first tractor he ever bought new. So it's going to stay here as long as I'm here. You know, what happens to it after that, I don't know. I'd like to think that some John Deere collector would acquire it and save it, because it's kind of unusual. Like I said, you don't see many that way. And factory roll guard and loader, and it's all just like it was. So I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, I could talk all day about things that have nothing to do with anything, but that's the first thing that I got. So we'll go look at the second thing I got as a result of going to the farm machinery show. Well, before we go to the other thing that I got from the farm machinery show, I'm going to give you a quick peek of the 1365, because I don't know what order I'll put these videos out in, but you're actually looking at the new cup that I just got in the mail for the air cleaner. I talked about that in one video, so we'll try it to put on sometime, but I did get it this far. Got a muffler, and the whole works here, and it runs. And of course, you will eventually see those videos, if not before this, after this, because I filmed them and got up to like part 12, I think, in the series. And as of right now of filming this video that you're watching, I have released part 6. So there's still quite a few to go. But I feel like people don't want to sit and watch 3 or 4 hours of working on something. So that's why I've kind of broken it up into no more than an hour at a time. So anyway, we will see this little feller in the future more. Actually, to put the muffler on, I had to change the manifold because I realized that it was into the hood, and then figured out that the back side was broken. And I could have probably fixed it, but it wasn't worth it. I had this other one that came off of this tractor, and it looks like it was almost new, so I don't know if they replaced it at some point. But it was a lot better shape than the other one, so I went with that. But I'm waiting on this for more parts, which, like I said, you will see videos about it. So whenever we get to that point, you know, you'll follow along with the story. I'm going to release the tractor videos on this in order so that the story makes sense. But yeah, I know more than you on what's going on with it, but you will all know in time. Just be patient. So that's how that goes. Let's go look at the other thing now. All right, the other day, just before I left, in pulled the FedEx man with this whole pile of stuff. 3 boxfuls from the old shoop. And I also mentioned in that farm machinery show video that I needed to stop and talk to them because they were having a sale and they would give you 10% off and free shipping. They do every year about the time of the show. So I naturally had to buy some stuff, and I'll show you what that is. So this is our first unboxing of it. I don't even know. They split it into 3 boxes, which is understandable because of the weight. But I got new seed openers for the 5100 planter, and I got enough to do the whole thing, which amounts to, what did I say, 26 of them. So anyway, we'll open all the boxes and see what they look like. But oh yeah, there they are. Nice, heavy, good quality, all new. So much better than what I had, and that's good deal. I should have replaced them last year, but I put it off, and I thought I'd, you know, just wait till I could get to the sale if possible, and I made it. So it's time to reward the planter with the good job it did last year with the yields by putting some new parts on it again. I think I will put these away until we get to work on it. There'll be videos on working on this, but I'm going to carry one down there and we're going to go see how it compares to what's on there. Okay, can we get to this without it? Yeah, see, you can see how much is wore off of these. They are just practically shot. So you put the new ones on, it's going to go up to here. At least you can see the old wear marks, so in places. So anyway, it was time. So hopefully I have enough stuff to do that, and we'll be in business then this spring. Well, we can put in a little bit of this. Because of the design and having to follow suit, I have to notch these, which I'm not thrilled about. And it may be, looking at it, that some of this was, like I said, if this was recycled, this might have already had a notch in it, and that was why he did it, because it also looks like somebody angle cut it. And the way this is, you would not have to cut the angle, so I'm not going to. I'm going to leave more meat on it, I think. So I would have to cut from here, if I can make the mark one-handed, and then down this way, because I got it all squared up here. And I should probably get a pencil instead of this utility knife, although it does leave a nice cut in it. I just want it to be in the right spot. I'm going to go try to find my marker, I think, and just highlight it. This cut is fine, I can tell where that is, but this other one, And I don't want to, I'm going to try not to overcut it, because that's the worst thing in my mind, is when you cut too far in and then you really have like the beginnings of a crack. So we're going to do that and see what happens. This end, I'm just going to leave it longer this way. I don't know why. I asked him why did he do that, but he doesn't remember, which is why I say that it's probably salvage material, and it was already, you know, cut to that length, because it's just shy of 16 feet the way it is. So anyway, all right, not bad. I'm gonna put it up there and see how it looks, and if all goes well, we'll keep using that same piece to make our next ones so that they're all alike. But I got enough to do 3, so that'll take care of the 2 that blew off, and then the one that's still up there is kind of iffy, so we'll go with this. Well, there, that doesn't look too bad. It's up there. It seems to match what we got going on. Even broke out Grandpa's hammer. It's only got 1 claw, but it's too good to throw away, so a little bit of that's going back into it. And I guess while we're talking about that, I have to take this opportunity to remind you that you cannot put a price on safety. That's why I'm using this ladder that I got at an auction for $1. It doesn't even have the whole ladder, but it works good. So to attach this, the originals are just like toenailed in, or whatever you want to say, but I have got some bracketry here. I'll show you. Okay, pick up. I will still use the toenail method probably, but we also started putting these thingamajigs on several years back after we had a whole bunch of stuff destroyed in a hard hurricane style wind, and it seems to put the stop to stuff blowing away. So once you get it all fastened down, you put one of these little doodads on, and that helps hold things down. So that way it can't do what it did in this case, which was just it picked it up and pulled the nails all out of their holes and folded the whole thing back. So these are pretty good things. Usually I think the brand I get is Simpson strong ties, but these were in a pro pack, so I figured save money and buy the 40 at a time instead of just $1 a piece. So we'll see if the value brand ends up hurting me in the long run, but right now it's better than what we got, which is a hole to the sky. So anyway, I think we'll leave it there, and I'll just work on it, and you'll see the end result at some point. All right, a quick clip with the phone here, but this is what I got so far. I made an executive decision to switch from 36-inch-ish centers like it was on to 24s, with the thinking that my MPF is not getting any better. So if I have to climb up here, 24 would be better. And I'm probably gonna take this one out and add another one in here, and then, you know, as I go on, eventually when I have to replace this roof, I will probably continue this project. But for now, just to get it under roof, I'm gonna stop with one more. But that will put us in pretty good shape, I think, on this end where the wind will come in, so that hopefully this does not happen again for a while. It takes just the right kind of wind. I've had this happen before on buildings where it's enclosed on one side. The wind gets in, it's got nowhere to go, and then it just lifts everything up. So anyway, I'm happy with the progress that I have made here, especially since I'm doing it by myself with this dollar store ladder. So anyway, we'll call this the end of this video, and that's the way it'll be. I'll show it to you whenever we get it farther than this. As always, if you enjoy the videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment, tell me you like it. Some of you are doing a really good job telling me you don't like it. That's fine. I really don't care. If that's what you want to say, that's more power to you. Anything you say helps the channel. I'm not going to necessarily change my ways. I'll probably keep doing things my way, but that's how it is. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.